So first and foremost, good afternoon, Mr. Anderson Paak. How you doing?
Great.
How's life been in the last couple of days? The new album's out.
Life is a blur, but it's G. It's good. Having a good time with my fam, you know. Everything's changing around us, and we're just trying to hold on.
How do you deal with the, because obviously you must have a lot of time constraints, like how do you keep the balance of, just focusing on your career now and just actually your normal life?
Well, there really is no balance. This is about my career right now. And I feel blessed that there's people around that help to cater towards other things that sometimes they lack attention to at the moment. I got a 5-year-old, and if I didn't have my wife around to really give him the attention he needs, I don't even know how I would be able to focus this much on my career. But I feel like it's just seasons for everything, and right now this is, I want to put everything into this, and I'm kind of obsessed with this, and I'm just really chasing after something right now. And at one point I'll be able to take a breather and devote more time into things like my little son and family, and maybe I can what's the game that old people play when they play horseshoes and shit? Yeah, I could do that or something.
Cool. Can we talk about Birds off the album? It's almost like you're talking about almost a family tree and a lineage within it. For your own words, can you describe to us Birds and also the studio session and recording it?
The Bird was done in a little studio in a room, and I had a snare drum and a hi-hat and one mic, and I was experimenting with this production of starting with the drums with snare and hi-hat, and I would play these long loops, 16-bar loops. Sometimes I'd play just for about 2 or 3 minutes at a time, and then I would program a kick drum after, and I would build tracks that way around that foundation, and that was one of them. I started writing that one actually at Shafiq Hussein's house, maybe almost 5 years ago. And he had a Rhodes keyboard and the 404, and we were just jamming one day. And I started singing that line, and we started writing that. And I wrote the chords on the Rhodes originally. And the original version had it was with Shafiq, but we couldn't find the stems. So then I got to my other studio and I redid the whole thing. And I got Kelsey to lay bass, and Jose to put guitar, and my boy Ron, who's been playing with us for a while, Ron Avant, put the keys on there. And usually I just let them do long takes, and then I chop and edit where I want to take things out. And on that track, there's a lot of editing. If you hear, before the editing, it was just all one jam, and I took out certain kicks and certain bass and bring in keys here and take it in and out there. And I think it kept it kind of rooted in a hip hop vibe, but still soulful. And I just wanted to give a song that set the tone for the rest of the album. I knew very early on that would be the first song for the album. And I wanted something that would talk about my family line and a little bit of what I went through, but kind of loosely and not so dense. And I think we nailed it.
You have that line is I've got my lessons from, is it the Ancient Rules, or?
Yeah, I learned my lessons from the Ancient Rules. Yeah.
Through your mindset, what does that mean to you?
Man, honestly, that kind of reminds me of just being in the house with Shafiq. Shafiq was kind of schooling me to Moorish times in the Moors in Spain, and just how the things were before the Catholics took over, and he was hipping me to all these different things, just about how even things started in America, and the rules of Egypt, and how a lot of the templates that were based in Egypt that they followed them a lot, even in Europe and the Catholics and with the popes and everything. So a lot of what is a lot of the rules that people follow now are kind of based on ancient studies, I think, that started in Egypt.
But that's pretty profound. But I don't think a lot of people actually know that level of insight when they're hearing the track because it's so musical. Yeah. Does that also, when you have that type of information and that knowledge, or you acquire information, does that change the way that you see yourself as an artist and what you're here to do?
It's just experience, you know. I just take in this information, and I'm an artist that is affected by his surroundings and people he meets and takes these experiences and writes songs about them. I feel like my main responsibility as an artist is to create with as less compromise as possible, and to freely create and to express what I'm feeling and how maybe the world is even feeling, and maybe to try to put those in words that you might have wanted to say that you couldn't say, or she might have wanted to do she couldn't do. I feel like we are blessed as artists to be able to do those things, and we should really take advantage of that. So that's all I thought.
Let's kind of move on to some of the things that you have been doing. You were in France recently.
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience for you being on a TV show?
It was amazing. Yeah, I didn't know. A lot of these things I don't know like how they're going to turn out or what the audience is or what anything. I just kind of trust that it's going to work out. And that was definitely one of them. You know, we showed up and it was like I didn't think any of us knew how big of a production it was. And it was super dope. It was real fun. We got to do 2 tracks and the crowd was really cool. And then we saw the footage yesterday. And shit, that looked like we was on, like, we looked like superstars up there. It was cool. Like, we don't have anything that looks as good as that. So I was super happy to have that.
Yeah, and it shows that music obviously is breaking the language barrier as well.
Yeah.
And you've got a show, a tour coming out in the UK pretty soon. How are you feeling about that?
I love it. It's my first time going out, you know, headlining. I've been to the UK a couple times, and I was always playing for other people. Sometimes I was even opening and playing in the band for the headliner. It was a lot of just busting my ass working, and but all those things like really gave me my chops, just my live chops, and made me really confident on stage. So it's awesome to be able to have the opportunity to now come out, and it's our show, and we're doing it in our way, and I got my band, and it's our songs and a new album, and it's like so much momentum. It's like timing is crazy.
And you did Boiler Room yesterday, right?
Yeah.
What was that like as an experience for you?
It was dope, man. I've done a few Boiler Rooms, and this one was cool. It was kind of like last minute, but it was different because we did it with a DJ. It was just me. Excuse me. It was just me and Caleb, and we were just like, you know what? We've never done just a DJ set, but we're just gonna do our best, and it was really fun. And by the end of the show, it was like we were in there dancing. It was real cool. Yeah.
Back on the album, one of my favorite tracks was The Dreamer. Something about it. I need you to break that whole song down for me, The Dreamer.
Yeah. That song was produced by Caleb Connor, and he also did the song Drugs from Venice, and he did, you know, over half of Venice album. And I think Caleb saw that we were taking it in a different direction for Malibu, and we were doing more of a soul-based album as opposed to the last album, which was more modern and electronic, hip-hop, even trap. Was all over the place. And this one, I kind of wanted to bring it on home to more soulful vibe. And Caleb is one of those producers who can adjust and adapt to anything, any kind of style. So he had that track, and I think initially over his tracks, I usually try to impress him and do something that he hasn't heard because we work so much, you know, so long together. But I usually go real edgy on his tracks for some reason. And I remember writing something, and it just had a lot of crazy stuff in to the beat. And he was like, yo, man, we should just try to do something different, you know, maybe something you don't got to talk about, like, you know, fucking this chick or like, you know, sniffing the coke or something. And so he's like, I was like, all right. So then I had this line, you know, a lot of times if I can't write anything on the spot, I go into my notes and I just look at different things that I've written, and just a lot of times I'll have, you know, half a hook or just a phrase that I heard or anything, and I'll write it down. And I had that. This one's for all the little dreamers. And I originally wrote that over, I think, a knowledge beat, and I didn't end up using it. And immediately I knew it would work over that one. And I had that whole hook, and it was just like about, you know, a lot of this album is real reflective, and that song in particular was just like, it just brought me back to when, you know, being just, my mom was hustling, you know, my pops was crazy. I think in order to cope with everything, just try to streamline and say, you know, I'm just gonna work and provide, and I know everything is falling apart, but I'm gonna just try to make sure they got everything they need, and that's exactly what she did. So it's like, who cares? Your daddy couldn't be here, you know, and it's like, that's a common story with, I think, a lot of people growing up, especially a lot of black males. And I think it's about, okay, we get it, he's not there, but how are we moving past that, and how are we going to paint a different picture? And so that's where it comes in, where it's like, Mama always kept the cable on, and that was it. You know, my mom was always working double time because she knew things were different, and you know, she kept the cable on. I was a kid that was in front of the TV, had my pizza, had my juice, and that's how I remember my childhood, was just being in front of the TV, watching TV, and just like getting all these different images from cartoons and different things like that, and music videos and all that. And I think it just, that was like my babysitter. And it was almost like an extended family member. And that's how I was able to, I think, conjure up some of these dreams I had, and think that, oh man, I could be on the stage, and I could be doing music videos like this, and I could maybe work with Dre, and I could, you know, meet Snoop, and all these different things came from those videos and that vibe. And that was pretty much where I was getting at. It's like, we didn't have a lot, but we had everything. And, you know, I don't really do much TV now, but I think I did enough of it as a kid. But I think that helped mold, you know, a lot of my ideas, and especially my impressionable years. And I got all my nieces on the track, and I heard them on the chorus, like as a choir feel. I was like, oh, she needs like a choir thing. And I got 4 nieces, and they love to sing. So I brought them in the studio, and I got them on there. And when they got on there, that's when I knew, okay, this is how I'm gonna end the album. This is gonna be like that, like dreams come true kind of vibe, you know, like, dang, man, we did a lot this year. Like, you know what I'm saying? The dreamer, like, damn, like, you remember when we was just last year, we was just chilling, like, never would have thought we was at Coachella, just taking shrooms, like, just wishing we could rock the stage, and now we're on the bill. Like, that's crazy. So, like, that's what that song embodies, you know. And then I sent it to Talib, you know, and he loved it. I was like, can you please just bless me with a verse? Because I felt like my verses were vague and really short, and I wanted to keep it like that. And then I wanted somebody to come in with a real dense rap and bring it on home. And I thought he was perfect for it.
Yeah, that's what I feel. That's almost like a euphoric type of feel. Like,
just like, yeah, top of the roof, just like, yeah, man.
It's strange. When I listen to it, it gives you a certain type of feeling. It's hard to describe. You just listen to it thinking, it's not nostalgic, but it makes you feel something.
Yeah.
When you finished making that record, did you know automatically, like, yeah, we've got one?
Yeah, like, when we're in mastering, I was just like, yeah, you know. I was just so proud because, like, some of the songs we've had for like 3-4 years, and a lot of my team were like, "You're never putting this out," you know. It was looking like I was gonna never do it, and I always had in the back of my mind like, "Yo, we're gonna drop this Malibu album. It's gonna be special. People, we're gonna drop it, and it's gonna be the right time, and it's gonna be when everybody's like, you know, we might not have everybody, but way more people are gonna be paying attention." I always felt like, and I want to make sure we don't waste and just throw these songs away. And I built the rest of the album on, you know, so songs like The Bird, Put Me Through, Parking Lot, Celebrate. The rest of the songs were built around those songs. The rest of the album was. So, when we were getting back to masters, I was just like, damn, this is gonna be. And then we started putting in the interludes and stuff, and I started getting some songs at the very last minute. Like I got Waterfall, and I got the joint from High Tech and Silicon Valley. Like some of these were in the like I was literally trying to master an album, and I was getting a lot of these songs that were coming in at the last minute. So I knew it was getting special, man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a special album, especially like I was saying on a production level. One of the songs I actually liked a lot was Without You, and I was listening to it, saying it sounds like it could be a current situation, but hearing what you're saying now, it could be a past situation. Is Without You something that occurred in the past, or?
Yeah, past and present, you know. It's really talking about my wife, you know. It's like how I was kind of apprehensive to accept love, and that's all she ever gave, and that's all she ever gives me. And I was thinking of every excuse to be like, nah, like, should I trust you, this and that? And like, she never was pressuring me. All she did was just be there for me. And even that scared me. And it's kind of just about that. I'm thinking of, I used to just kind of, I think it was like a self, sabotage kind of thing. Some people are afraid of success, but some people are just afraid of, being loved and just being like, oh man, like, you got a good girl, bro. Just like, you can accept that and you can embrace that. It's cool. It's not gonna mean like you're weak or anything like that, or nobody's gonna feel like, you're not dope anymore. And I think it's just talking about my immaturity and towards that. And I was dirty. I needed a shower. You fed me, you clothed me, gave me a sack lunch. Like that was it. That's facts. And like, she held me down. And I was still like, trying to just like go and wild out, and she still held it down. And it was just like kind of just coming to my senses at one point, and I think that's where Rhapsody comes in. And it's like, bro, like, how you gonna even, how is it even a question? Like, so I love her verse, because I didn't explain what the song really was about. I just wrote my verse, and she picked up on it right away. And I felt like her response, I just feel like she bodied it.
What are some of the lessons you've learned now in the music industry in the last couple of years?
Just you stay loyal. Loyalty and detail, attention to detail. You should just say less, speak less. You should talk way less, and you should just do a lot of listening and observing, and you should treat everybody like they're the president. You should talk to everybody and have like that genuine, try to remember people's names and stuff, and like really, even if you're having a bad day, just kind of be attentive and pay attention, because you never know, that stuff can just save your life in the end, or like you never know who's gonna be vital, or like what you're gonna need, or what you can receive from someone. Even songs come out of conversations, so just paying attention and that loyalty, man, to my team, really appreciating a team that's around you, because that's really what it is, man. That's what's getting you to these these points where this point of elevation. You know. So.
And last question will be like two in one. What's your perception of success, or what do you see as your purpose as a musician?
Success, I just feel like it's when you are able to capture and grab down what you were meant to do. If you're blessed enough to know what you love to do and you're doing it, you're actually doing it, then I feel like that's successful. Finding what you love to do. My purpose is, I feel like I was put on the earth to inspire to inspire people through art. Right now the medium is music. And I think sky's the limit. You know, I want to get into a bunch of different things, but like when I'm on stage and I'm on the drums and when I'm making music and I put music out, I see that it affects people and I see that it can make people move and have a better day and, like you said, give them a feeling. And I knew that since I first started, and that's the reason that I wanted to keep doing it. When I seen that I can make people move and, like, you know, I can get an energy and take that energy and do crazy things with it. So I think that's my purpose, and I just want to keep getting better at it.
Okay, well, Mr. Anderson Paak, appreciate your time and thank you for the insight.